The entertainment world is literally shaking to its core right now with this explosive lawsuit involving Jay Z and Diddy, and trust me when I tell you this drama is messier than a toddler's first attempt at eating spaghetti. Listen up, because what I'm about to share is going to make your head spin. There's this absolutely earth-shattering lawsuit involving a 13-year-old girl, and the details are so shocking that people can barely catch their breath. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more dramatic, Jay Z is now pulling a move that's got everyone's eyebrows raised higher than stilettos at a runway show. He's trying to force this Jane Doe to reveal herself to the public. But wait, because this tea just keeps getting hotter. You know what's really making people talk? Solange's super suspicious absence from Blue's Mufasa premiere. And in this family, honey, absences speak louder than a gospel choir on Sunday morning. The internet detectives are working overtime trying to decode what this means. And let me tell you, some of these theories are juicier than a perfectly ripe mango. Now hold on to your designer bags, because we need to talk about this absolutely shocking list that's been circulating about Jay's alleged past encounters with underage girls. When I first read these court documents, I gasped so loud my neighbors probably thought I'd seen a ghost. And get this, people aren't even shocked anymore, because apparently the streets have been saying this for years. It's like everyone knew about this open secret, but nobody wanted to be the first one to say it out loud. The court documents are spilling more tea than a British afternoon social. Let me read you this exact quote that's got everyone's group chats blowing up. Mr. Combs believes he is above the law. He is not. His close friend Sean Carter has been with Combs during many such instances described herein. Both perpetrators must face justice. Child, when I tell you I had to fan myself after reading that.
Right into how did two of the biggest names in music even meet?
Well, we met a long time ago. Award shows, a lot of different performances.
And at what point did the conversation come, hey, do you want to do some music?
You know how people, you see each other and you respect each other's music. You know, it's always that conversation, yo, we got to do something. You know that.
Right.
The time filler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When that time filler turns into something real, then it's...
Now, we absolutely must dive deep into the whole Solange situation, because this is where things get spicier than a ghost pepper challenge. Remember that infamous elevator incident back in 2014? When that TMZ footage dropped, everyone was trying to figure out what could make Solange go from 0 to 100 faster than a Tesla on sport mode. Well, looking back now, it's like we're watching a movie where all the puzzle pieces are finally falling into place. Let me paint you a picture of just how protective Solange has always been of Beyonce. This woman isn't just a protective sister, she's like a combination of a guard dog, a security system, and a mama bear all rolled into one. There was this absolutely wild story about how she almost called the police on their own father because she thought he might hurt Beyonce. That's the kind of sister energy that makes the Kardashians look like casual acquaintances. But here's where the plot thickens. In the past few years, their relationship has gotten colder than an ice cream truck in Antarctica. We're talking absolutely frigid. Solange didn't even congratulate Beyonce when she made literal Grammy history. Do you understand how major that is? That's like not congratulating someone for winning the lottery and becoming president on the same day. And then, adding salt to the wound, Beyonce didn't mention her sister in her acceptance speech, even though she basically thanked everyone else in the industry, including her third cousin's neighbor's dog Walker.
I want to thank God for protecting me. Thank you, God. I'd like to thank my Uncle Johnny, who's not here, but he's here in spirit. I'd like to thank my parents, my father, my mother, for loving me and pushing me. I'd like to thank my beautiful husband, my beautiful 3 children who are at home watching. I'd like to thank the queer community for your love and for inventing this genre. God bless you.
Now let me serve you some exclusive tea from an insider who's so close to the situation they probably know what kind of toothpaste Beyonce uses. They revealed that the entire music industry was completely shook when Solange wasn't involved in Beyonce's Renaissance album. And let's be real for a hot minute, this was exactly Solange's vibe. But not only did she not participate, she didn't even post a single tweet or Instagram story supporting it. In 2024, that kind of social media silence is basically the equivalent of sending a sky-written message saying, "We're not okay," and the tea just keeps flowing. Another source spilled even more details, saying, not only was Solange not part of B's project, she had not sent out a single tweet or Instagram post supporting Renaissance. The source went on to drop this bombshell. "I think it's weird for her not to be out supporting Bey. They took a chance on her latest album, Renaissance, and she actually needed everyone to support it to propel it to being the hit. When I tell you my jaw hit the floor so hard it left a dent." Sources close to the situation, and when I say close, I mean closer than your skinny jeans after Thanksgiving dinner, are saying that Solange has been desperately trying to get Beyonce away from Jay Z. Why? Because apparently he's the connection to Diddy, and Solange is terrified that her sister might get caught up in all this mess, and looking at what's coming out now, maybe Miss Solange was onto something bigger than a Beyonce world tour. Speaking of getting caught up in the mess, let me drop this bombshell that's bigger than Beyonce's entire wardrobe collection. There were allegations that both Jay Z and Beyonce were mentioned in Cassie's original lawsuit against Diddy. A source so reliable they could probably get a job at the FBI came forward saying that the initial 60-page lawsuit had some serious tea about them witnessing something super sketchy at one of Diddy's parties. They're keeping the location and date under wraps for privacy issues. But honey, we all know that's code for too hot to touch with a 10-foot pole. And just when you thought this story couldn't get any more shocking than finding out your ex is dating your best friend, here comes Jaguar Wright swinging through the jungle of allegations like she's got tea to serve and scores to settle. She's out here making claims that would make a reality TV producer blush 50 shades of red. According to her explosive testimony, Jay Z and Beyonce are involved in some seriously dark activities, including allegedly keeping people against their will and transporting them across borders while unconscious. Like, is this real life, or did we all accidentally stumble into an episode of Law and Order SVU?
Victims potentially, do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious. Just like Aaliyah got on that plane. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting air tag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do.
Enter Rihanna's former publicist Jonathan, who shared a story that's more twisted than a pretzel at a German beer festival. This man claims he was literally stopped by federal agents in unmarked cars who were investigating Jay Z. Can you imagine being pulled over by the feds to spill tea about one of hip-hop's biggest names? I would have needed a change of clothes, a paper bag to breathe into, and my entire emergency self-care kit. Jonathan didn't just spill the tea, he dumped the entire tea factory. He detailed being taken to some creepy makeshift interrogation room that probably looked like something out of a crime thriller, where the feds dropped a bombshell that made everyone's head spin faster than a DJ's turntable. They were investigating Jay Z for allegedly engaging in inappropriate activities with Rihanna before she turned 18 and illegally transporting her across international borders. And honey, she wasn't the only one. The feds mentioned there were many others involved. The plot is thickening faster than cement on a hot summer day. Now let's talk about the Foxy Brown situation, because this tea is so hot it could melt steel. She was allegedly only 15 when she started having encounters with Jay Z. And then there's the whole drama with Ryrir, who's been trying harder than a contestant on American Idol to get Jay Z to take a paternity test. The reason he won't do it? Allegedly, because it would prove he had relations with Ryrir's mom, Wanda, when she wasn't of legal age. Even Wanda's godmother spilled some suspicious tea in an interview, talking about how lawyers' attitudes change faster than a chameleon in a rainbow factory when they realized there was more at stake for Sean because of Wanda's age. And can we please discuss the elephant in the room, the allegations about Jay Z's relationship with Beyonce herself? In 2008, Beyonce said she was 18 when she met Jay Z and started dating him at 19. But people who were in the scene back then have been singing a different tune louder than a church choir. They're saying Jay Z might have started pursuing Beyonce way earlier than that. There's even this viral video floating around where Jay Z basically transforms into a human stop sign when Beyonce starts talking about when they actually met. It's giving major nothing to see here energy, and we all know what that usually means. Fast forward to today, and we've got this explosive lawsuit claiming Jay Z forced himself on a 13-year-old. His response? He's trying to force Jane Doe to reveal herself, claiming she hasn't provided any evidence to justify her anonymity. But people are absolutely terrified for this woman's safety, saying that if her identity gets out, she might end up unalive. The streets are whispering that if she reveals herself, she might disappear faster than my ex's text messages when his new girlfriend walked in. The timing of all this couldn't be more dramatic if it was written by Shakespeare himself. Just when everyone thought the Diddy situation was the biggest scandal in hip-hop history, here comes this avalanche of allegations about Jay Z that's making Watergate look like a minor misunderstanding. Every day brings new revelations that make yesterday's bombshells look like firecrackers at a nuclear test site. Sources are saying Solange is completely done with all of this drama, and honestly, can you blame her? She's reportedly wishing her sister had never gotten caught up in any of it, but at this point, it's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube. Absolutely impossible and guaranteed to make an even bigger mess. The frustration is written all over her social media absence, and in celebrity world, silence speaks louder than a million press releases. And here's what's really got everyone's phones buzzing like a beehive on Red Bull. All these allegations aren't just random coincidences anymore. The streets have been whispering these things for years, and now it seems like everything's finally coming to light. Between the federal investigations, multiple accusations, and all these connections to other controversial figures, this is starting to look less like coincidence and more like a pattern that's harder to ignore than your mother's calls on a Saturday night. So, what do you think, my tea-sipping friends? Is this the real reason for the obvious tension between Solange and Beyonce? Is Solange just trying to protect her sister from something bigger than Beyonce's entire discography? Because honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if there were even more bombshells waiting to drop than there are sequins on a Beyonce costume. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And trust me, the way things are going, this story is definitely going to have more chapters than your favorite Netflix series. Stay tuned, because something tells me we haven't heard the last of this scandal. The drama is just getting started, and I'll be here spilling all the tea as it comes. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because you do not want to miss what happens next in this real-life soap opera. Remember, in the words of the great philosophers, where there's smoke, there's usually a whole forest fire. And baby, this situation is smoking more than a barbecue pit at a Texas cookout. Keep your eyes peeled and your teacups ready, because this story is far from over.